Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Veronica, known as Data Geek. In the last video, we installed MySQL with XAMPP, and we proved that Python can connect. Today, we're going to turn that connection into a live Streamlit dashboard that updates automatically and shows interactive charts. So if you're ready, let's dive in. All right, so here I am in my phpMyAdmin. And if you want to learn how to download this, I created a video on that. That was the first step. So I will link that video in the description below. The first thing you're going to do is open up a browser and you're going to go to localhost/phpMyAdmin in your browser. Once you do that, you will be here on this window. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a database. So if you already have a database you're working with, that's fine. You can use that one. But for this tutorial, we're going to create one. To create one, you're going to click on New here on the left side where it says New. So it will put you to this tab here. So create database. So your database name. My database name is going to be sales underscore dashboard underscore mysql. And I will leave that as is, and I'm going to hit create. And now I have my database created. So now I need to create my table and columns. But for this, I'm going to go to the SQL tab here on the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in this code, and I will provide this code in the description below. So what it does is it's creating my table inside my database, and it's called sales data. So imagine yourself having an Excel sheet that is called sales underscore data. Now you need your column names, right? So here are our column names: ID, product, region, total sales, and sale time. So next to each column name in green is your variable character. This is the data type, and it's used to store text or string values. And then here is 100. So this is actually minimum number of characters allowed. So this means the column can store up to 100 characters, but no more. And here we're going to set this as a primary key. So as a primary key, this means it's a unique number that helps the database keep track of each row. It auto increments every time we add new data. So we don't have to worry about creating a new ID manually. And then there's integer, which is a whole number. Varchar is the data type used to store text like words, sentences, or labels. And then decimal is an actual decimal numbers. And then date time is date or time. We're going to go ahead and hit go here on the bottom. So it runs that query. So this is normal. MySQL returned an empty result, meaning that the create table query ran successfully. It created the table, but since it's a structured command, not a select, there's no data to return. So right now we just have an empty table. Now that our table is created, we're going to import the CSV file into MySQL. But first, let's look at that CSV file. So this is the CSV file. We have product, region, total sales, and sale underscore time. As you can see, it's the same names. So you need to make sure your column names match it exactly. Otherwise, it will not work. And then once you're back here, you're going to click on the left side where you created that table, sales underscore data. So you click on that table. And then on the top here, you're going to click on import tab. So click that. And next, you're going to click choose file and upload the sales underscore data mysql.csv. So that's the CSV file I just showed you. I will link that in the description below as well, so you can download it. So import. So I'm going to choose file. I have it in my downloads file. So I'm going to go ahead and click that and open. It also says you may also drag and drop a file on any page. So you have that option there. So now you're going to scroll down to the bottom where it has format. So make sure your format is a CSV file. Scroll down here to format specific options. Columns separated with comma. So make sure that's selected. Columns enclosed with double quotation. And those are the options that we're going to keep. So now that we have everything we need, we're going to go ahead and import. Now I got an invalid column count in CSV input. So this is because I didn't count the ID column that SQL automatically creates. So we have 4 columns in our CSV file. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, but we also need to add that ID column. So this is important to add that column in because ID is set to auto increment. So you don't need to include it in your CSV, but MySQL will auto fill it for every row. All right, so it's an easy fix. So go ahead and make sure you have your table sales data selected and then go to import. And then we're going to choose our data set again. And then scrolling down under format, make sure it's a CSV file and format specific options, keeping all of these the same. But here under column names, we're going to specify product, comma, region, comma, total underscore sales, comma, and sale underscore time. Now what this does is telling phpMyAdmin to skip the ID column and only use the 4 columns in the CSV file. So now we're going to go ahead and click import. Import has been successfully finished. So we have 51 queries, but it should be 50. So let's kind of see what happened here. I'm pretty sure it's counting that first column, the header names, as another row. So we're going to fix that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to sales data. That's your table. And we're going to take a look at it. So yes, it's product region. So it looks like it's grabbing that first column into your table. So we're going to click this box here in that row. And then we're going to scroll down and click delete or delete selected rows, which is here. And then it gives you a warning. Do you really want to execute the following query? And we select yes. All right, so if you did follow along and you did see that column header being treated as a data row, no worries, we just deleted that. Now we have our clean data. So now we're ready to build our live dashboard. So let's switch over to VS Code and create a new Python file that connects directly into this MySQL database. Once that connection works, we'll start visualizing live data using Streamlit and Plotly. So if you're ready, I'll see you in Visual Studio. All right, so here I am in Anaconda Navigator. So Anaconda Navigator, I use this to open up my Visual Studio, which is VS Code here. It's also good for other apps to use, such as Jupyter Notebook. I use a lot of these in my tutorials. But in this case, we're going to use VS Code. And also, if you want to learn how to download Anaconda Navigator to be able to utilize these tools, I will put a link in the description below on that video on how to download Anaconda Navigator. So once you are here, you launch VS Code. All right, so once you open up Visual Studio, you will be directed here. So the first step is opening a folder, but we have not created that. So we're going to go ahead and go back to your file location on where you put your Python projects. So in this case, I'm going to open up my downloads folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and create new folder. I'm going to call this mysql_dashboard. Now that I have my folder created, I can go back to Visual Studio and open folder, downloads, and here's my folder and select folder. So now I have my folder. It is empty, but we're going to start creating some files in here. So make sure that file is selected. Now we're going to go ahead and add 3 new files. So make sure you're creating a new file. So click that. And we're going to call this one app.py. Enter. And we're going to add another one. And this one is going to be called requirements.txt. So it's going to be a text file with requirements such as like the libraries needed. So requirements.txt, enter. And then another file, and now this one's going to be optional. It's basically an AI-powered insights. So we're going to call this insights.py, enter. So now you should have your main folder, which is mysql_dashboard, and then your files. First thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the requirements.txt. So click that, make sure that is selected. And in here with requirements, we're going to put in this code. I will go ahead and paste this in to save time. So it's all it is it's Streamlit. We're going to be using mysql-connector-python, pandas, and plotly. So that's what is required for this tutorial. Then next, we will add a pip install a -r space and the requirements.txt. So that way we will install everything that we need. So what this is for is so that you could be able to copy this and paste into your terminal to run and install these requirements. So on the top left, it says terminal, the tab, click that, and then under terminal, you select new terminal. So then you can go ahead and paste that in there and hit enter, and it will install all of these requirements. Now making sure this requirements.txt is spelled exactly as your file name is. So even if you do a typo, it will not recognize that. So you need to make sure everything is exactly the same as you have it here. So now you have all of your libraries and you are ready to go to the next step. So I'll go ahead and close this terminal. Next, we're going to go into your app.py. And then I'm going to go ahead and paste in the code. And right here, we are importing our libraries that we need. Also, we're going to do our page configuration, manual refresh button, the MySQL connection, which is host, localhost. Your user equals the root. Password is blank unless you changed your password. And then your database sales_dashboard_MySQL. So this is the database we created. And we're going to do a query. Select all from sales data and order by sales time. And then we're going to load and display the data. And again, this whole code here, I will go ahead and provide to you in the description below. So no worries, you'll be able to still follow along by pasting this code in, making sure it's in the app.py file. All right, so now that our code is complete, we're going to go ahead and run this code. So on the top left, you're going to click on terminal. From the drop-down, click new terminal. And now we can run the code. First, you want to make sure you save your work. So go to your tab here on the top left, File, and Save. Or if you're on a Windows, you can do a Control-S to save. So now we're going to go ahead and type in Streamlit run and then your file name, which is app.py. And then I will hit Enter. Now it's running it. And it looks like it gave me an error. So here it's saying no model named MySQL. Now this means Python can't find the mysql-connector-python package. You need to connect to MySQL. So we're going to open up the VS Code terminal. And I will go ahead and delete these ones and go to terminal, new terminal. And here we're going to go ahead and put pip install mysql-connector-python and enter. So now it's connecting. So once it's installed, we run this Streamlit app again. So I just push this little plus sign here on my right side within my terminal to run a new terminal. And now we're going to go ahead and put Streamlit run app.py and enter. All right, so now it looks like it's running. Here on the top left, it says running. So here is your real-time MySQL sales dashboard. As you can see, we have our refresh button, the auto refresh every 60 seconds. Click the button below to refresh manually. We have recent sales. So we have our ID, our product, region, total sales, and sales time. So again, there's our 4 columns, including our 5th column, which is our primary ID that we created in MySQL. So then you scroll down. We have our sales by product. So if you go ahead and put your cursor over, you can see the little pop-ups. It's interactive, colorful. We have north, south, east, west. You click on just north, it just shows you north, south, east, or west. And if you scroll down here, we have sales by region and we have a pie chart here. So again, we also have the little northeast, south, or west here at the bottom. It's a very interactive dashboard. Now, before we wrap things up, I want to go ahead and go back to our VS Code here. And remember, we created this file here, insights.py. So you're going to click on that. And then we're going to go back to your app.py app. After this import time where you import your libraries, so right after import time, we'll put in this code. So from insights, import, generate insights. So that's the package you'll need here. So then you're going to scroll down where it says load and display data, which is on line 29 of this code. And then after df.getData, so this is our data. This is after loading your data frame. We're going to insert this code here. And this is our subheader. So auto generate sales insights and then generate insights. And then once you made changes, you're going to go ahead and go to File and Save, making sure you save all of your changes once you edit. And then going to our terminal again. So new terminal. And then we're going to go ahead and run the Streamlit again. And it ran successfully. So now you see auto generate sales insights. It gives you a message here. Try focusing your market on USB hub. It's performing best. So what this does, it's a function that checks things like what's the total sales amount, which product is selling the most, and what's the average order value. So every time the dashboard loads, it randomly selects one of those insights and displays it at the top here. So this gives viewers a quick and useful takeaway like best selling products, what to monitor, or total sales. So it's a simple trick, but it adds huge value. It makes your dashboard feel more intelligent, and users don't need to dig into the data themselves to get any answers. The answers are all right here. You can always customize the insights or add more logic later, but for now, this is a clean AI style touch you can use in any project. And again, I will add the full code in the description below. And that is it. You now have a fully functional real-time dashboard running on Python and MySQL. If you're serious about learning data analytics, dashboard, and automation, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I got more videos coming up with Python, SQL, Power BI, and more tools you'll need to hit that next job. If you found this video helpful, please smash that like button. I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you on the next video.